Done, son. Angels. You don't believe that I've been redeemed. Mm-mm. Great morning. That's what came on. So that's what worship was this morning. Great morning. Great morning. Great morning. Great people. Welcome to the message. Welcome to the message. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good. Happy, child, I don't know what the day is, Lord. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday. We in this thing. If you are new to the Kingdom Flow community, if you are new to the message, welcome. We are so happy and so grateful that you are here. And if you was an old T but good T, welcome back. Y'all show the new people them what to do. Come in, like the live, share the love, share the Lord. Drop something in the chat that you're grateful for. Let's get in the flow of abundance on this good day. Happy Wednesday, y'all. We are in Leviticus 21 on today. Child, I was sitting here and I say, child, maybe I need to worship. And as I was going through the songs, that one stopped and that one showed up, and I say, that's the one we're gonna worship on today. I know I've been changed and is and did. Okay, we know that for sure. We know that for sure. Man, y'all, how are y'all feeling? I don't know. Is it the moon energy? Ain't it like a new moon in Leo today? Per big Leo energy. I think it's like the new moon in Leo. It's almost our season almost up. Shout out to my Leos. Happy birthday to all my Leos. Love y'all. We still in this thing. August Leos, y'all better be representing for the culture. Okay. So Leo season's almost over. I believe today is the new moon in Leo, and I think it's like a solar eclipse. So new moon, solar eclipse. Child, I'm talking about the energy of the thing. Is it me just tired? Maybe it's because I walked like an extra 3.5 miles on yesterday. Maybe that's what it is. I am a little sore from that, but I did it. I walked the extra 3.5 miles. Why I said it's extra, because I did 3.5. It's more than that's more than zero. So it was why y'all trying to handle me? It was an extra 3.5 miles for me. It was more than zero. I did get outside. I actually went outside, y'all. I had to get some sun on yesterday. I actually went outside. I tell y'all, since I ain't in school right for this week, I don't know what to do with myself. So I went outside, got me some sunlights and stuff, took me a walk, and did about 3.5 miles on yesterday. I don't know where the energy came from, baby, because I ain't got no more left today. And I got so much work to do. I got a whole order I got to get together. I got stuff to do. But anyway, so y'all might be feeling a little low energy, but we still in this thing. Okay, we still in this thing. We still finna get done what we got to do. Heavy weight. Good morning, Pam. Good morning. Pam is checking in on the YouTube side of the street and says, great morning, Touche and the community. I'm grateful for change. Indeed and amen, man. That's a big thing that happened for me on yesterday, y'all. Sometimes, man, seasons change. There may be some things. Oh, wait, let me get my life in alignment over here on the TikTok side of the street. Y'all know I be forgetting that I'm supposed to be doing work on this side. Don't judge me. Oh, let me listen. I don't even have it. It's in my purse. Y'all, I'm pinning this over here on TikTok. Don't say I didn't put you on. Now, I don't actually have that one. I believe it's in my purse. I'm not finna go get it. I see they got 8 in stock. Not this one. Okay, this is a different one, but you can get this in my showcase. I'm just trying to tell somebody they was out of stock and now they back in stock. Go get that Rose Woman now. I got it pinned in my TikTok showcase. All right. I'm just telling you why they got it. You better get why the getting is good, cause honey, it was gone. I don't know. They must be getting a shipment in, baby. They got 8. It's from what I saw. I don't know. That's what I seen on the thing today. I'm just trying to told you. Good morning, Jared. Good morning. Jared says, great morning, everyone. I am grateful for passing my first semester of doctoral school, period. Congratulations to Jared, who is en route to he already got it. It's already his. Dr. J in the building. That's what I'm going to start calling you. I'm going to start calling you Dr. J. What a dooski booski. Congratulations, honey Winnie, on passing successfully for your first semester. Good morning, Chris Curls. Good morning. Wait a minute. Chris Curl says, great day, y'all. Grateful for my job and ready to begin the new semester. Indeed and amen. Indeed and amen. Man, new beginnings all around. New beginnings all around. The Lord gave me a little explanation. Some of us back in we in the waiting room, but it's understood why because we understand the assignment. We may be back in the waiting room. I know I am. Y'all know I am. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, honey Winnie. So some of us are back in the waiting room, and it's that last little piece before the Lord sends you into this new assignment. Y'all know I'm waiting on my new assignment to start. I think I've successfully completed everything. I'm waiting on school to start. That starts, I think, on Monday, whenever the 17th is. And then I got another assignment that starts next month. And so for some of us, the Lord is actually calling us in a little closer, child, because it's the preparation. Heavyweight. That's part of what this is about. It's also part of Matthew 4, which is what I had to do in Bible study on this morning. Man, the Lord is getting us ready, y'all. He's getting us ready for this assignment. Okay. Good morning, Tika Rican. Good morning. I'm waiting for a permanent position at my job. Congratulations in advance. It's already done, right? It's already done. We ready, y'all. We in this thing. We ready. Y'all ready? Let's get into Leviticus 21. Leviticus itself, I'm grateful that the Lord is having us go back through it again. It's a little heavy. This one was a little more heavy than I don't think, because they all been like that. I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. Me and the Lord been having to have some discussions around this stuff in Leviticus message. We had to have some discussions because some of this stuff, but you have to remember, and that's something the Lord told me, you have to remember that this was a different culture. There were a lot of things. Man, how did the Lord explain it to me on yesterday? Because some of this stuff, I'm just like, what? Like it doesn't make sense to us right now and this in our culture, but it may have made sense to them. So we have to keep that in mind. That it was a completely different culture, y'all. They didn't have what we have. It was a completely different experience. So some of the stuff is like, and this is something the Lord has explained to me before. The Lord didn't automatically come in and just be like, change everything. He literally came in and adopted into some of the things that they were already practicing. Because imagine coming in and it being a complete rewash for them, like everything washed out and everything changed everything. They already couldn't do the stuff that he was asking them to do. So imagine him coming in and instead it's kind of like us as well. As they evolved in some of the practices that they had in place, he went with it and said, okay, well, let's use this versus trying to establish a completely new culture. Does that make sense? Good morning, Melvina. Good morning, honey bunny. So that was part of what, like, big, because me and I'm talking about, listen, because I'd be like, give me some explanation, because I'm gonna need to understand. Because if I don't know, child, I'm gonna ask the Lord. So a lot of times I'd be in the middle of Bible study and I'd be like, wait a minute, Lord. Now, what you mean about this? What you mean? So y'all better be asking the Lord some questions. I do when I need clarification, right? Good morning, Monica. Good morning. Y'all like the live, share the love. Y'all, I'm still trying to figure out how to position my microphone. Thank you for the gifts, dearest one, because part of me be feeling like, can y'all hear me good? I be feeling like I'm yelling sometimes, and then I be feeling like I can't, like when I'm trying to read and stuff, I don't be knowing where to put because it feel weird. Don't be trying to handle me. Let's get into Leviticus 21 on this morning. So we did yesterday where the Lord was telling the people, the Israelites, how they are supposed to live, right? Now we got the flip to the priests. We're talking about Aaron and his sons. Y'all sip y'all favorite adult beverage. Now we talking about Aaron and his sons. Can I just tell somebody something? When the Lord called that access, it comes with different levels of accountability. What you said, I said. The access comes with different levels of accountability. The assignment you carry, that's why you got different responsibilities, right? The priest carried an additional responsibility. And this what I wrote. I say favor ain't fair and instructions aren't equal. Why? Because everybody ain't gonna have to go through what you go through because they don't have the assignment that you have. And baby, that assignment is heavy weight, which is why the Lord called this heavy weight. We're not talking about being a heavyweight in the spirituals, not today. Today we talking about them assignments. Man, when you got a big assignment, it is heavy. It come with some stuff. You got to do some stuff. You got to go through some things. Favor ain't fair, and instructions aren't equal because we all have different things we're supposed to do. And the way that I wrote this, I know we hear it all the time: to whom much is given, much is required. To whom more is given, more is required. There was more required for the priests, right? Why? Because they were appointed to represent God. Now, if you fast forward to the New Testament, thank y'all. If you fast forward to the New Testament, we are a kingdom of priests, right? So this is giving us, just like the Old Testament does anyway, it gives us a preview of the whole new covenant and how we are supposed to operate in the kingdom. So we are appointed to represent God. We've been talking about integrity. We've been talking about identity. We've been talking about character, morals, ethics, all these things, holiness, all these things we've been talking about in Leviticus. The Lord, he ain't stopped talking about it yet. Okay. He's showing us how we're supposed to live with him in the kingdom. Everyone belongs, but everybody doesn't carry the same assignment. Everybody gonna be great to the degree they meant to be great. You gonna be great to the degree that you decide to be great. You may have and it's a true story, right? Sometimes you have an assignment on your life or something the Lord tells you to do, but because you feel like it's too hard, you ever procrastinated in doing something that the Lord then told you to do, and you know you're supposed to do it, but you don't do it. Sometimes you can know that you have an assignment that is large or something, a lot for you to do, and you can choose not to do it, but out of fear, out of I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. Imagine being Moses, and then the Lord just come in, because y'all know it's a Moses is in here, and the Lord come in and tell you, you got to do something, and you be like, wait, what? Hold on, what you mean a nation? It was millions of the Israelites. Imagine that, right? Different levels. It's levels to this. Everyone belongs, but everyone doesn't carry the same assignment, and somebody can't carry what the Lord is giving you. This why you don't know what folks got to go through. We talk about this all the time. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning. You don't know what somebody had to go through to get where they got. You don't know what their struggles were. You don't know what the Lord required of them. You don't know the sacrifices that they had to make. That's why you don't be wishing for nobody assignment, baby. I don't want it. Mine is hard enough. Because I know what I done been through, baby. I don't want nobody else's assignment. I'm not envious. Honey. Because you may not even be, because look, you may not even be where God is taking you yet. But can you just think back on some stuff that you didn't had to go through? And then you look at other folks who didn't actually, let's just use, because I don't necessarily want to use that, because some people choose, everybody ain't walking on the light side of the street, and that's cool. But this why you can't be envious, because you just don't know. Some people still going through stuff right now, and I don't want them struggles. It's some stuff that I just don't want to deal with. So that's why you shouldn't be envious, because baby, you don't know what them folks had to go through to get something. I'm good. I'm good because I didn't had it. My child, I can barely carry. Thank God for strength, because I can barely carry. It feel like half the time I can barely carry what the Lord and gave me thus far, and He ain't done right. Good morning, Marianne. Good morning. Representation carries responsibility. Um, and we know that, of course, Jesus in this chapter, it talks about the priest not being able to touch bodies and all this kind of stuff. Thank God for God. Can we just, true story, give Jesus some glory? Thank God for Jesus. Thank God for Jesus. Man, it's so, when as you read, as I'm reading through this, and even in reading the New Testament for the third or fourth time, I don't know what time I'm on, it just be like, man, I literally be stopping and I just be like, thank God for Jesus. Good morning, Leah. Good morning. Cause baby, when I tell you he just came in and did some stuff, I literally just be like, man, imagine. Thank you so much for the gifts, dearest one. Thank you, honey one. Good morning, Alchemist. Good morning. I just be like, man, thank you, Lord. Cause honey, if we and this is the debate that I had. Well, it really wasn't a debate. Cause I called it wasn't a debate. I'd be like, Lord, yesterday's debate was, and I guess I guess I'm fitting in here. I was just like, Lord, how is it that the Israelites and us, because it's us too, right? Because we be like this, how we get it so wrong. Like, as I was reading through Leviticus and it's talking about all, it almost felt like, and it was specifically on this part because it's talking about how the priests couldn't touch the dead bodies. And, and if you read Leviticus one way, if you don't read it, if you don't have some understanding, you'll start to think that the Lord don't want you to grieve. He don't want you to mourn. Like, he don't want you to care if somebody die or just all of that, right? But then he insert Jesus and he go and he touching the people. He ain't where he don't care nothing about no dead bodies. He just like, come on, get up. And it was almost like the complete opposite of what we read in the Old Testament under the old covenant, right? So I say, well, Lord, how did we as a people now get it so wrong? And this, even and the way the Lord was showing me and explaining it to me on yesterday, it's like, how did Jesus come in? And yes, we understand he's the fulfillment of the law, but hear what I'm saying. It's like, how did we, because we know the Pharisees, Sadducees, all the people, all of them, they were so focused on the observance of the laws. But like Jesus told them in the New Testament, they missed all the things that God was really trying to show them under the old covenant: mercy, justice, fairness, being a good person, love, all the things. And I said to the Lord yesterday, I said, Dad, how we get it so wrong? Anyway, I hope that makes sense. That's why I say thank God for Jesus, that he came in and shows us the right way, right? He touches Jairus's daughter. He raises a widow's son. So he had power over death, which is, we know that. Under the law, death contaminated what was clean. Under Christ, life invades what is dead. Okay. God isn't saying they can't mourn. He's saying don't mourn like people who don't know me. I said what that mean. He said, because apparently, and this is, I guess this other people cultures, honey. He was talking about like they were doing like ritual cutting and mourning. Different kinds of ways, I guess, that people mourn. I don't know, because I'm talking about down here, baby. We just have the repast and we gonna eat. And if you from the South, you might, we have, it'd be different when somebody that went on to glory, baby. We be celebrating, right? We celebrate. We grieve differently, but we grieve differently knowing the life promised after this one. So for us down here in the South, it may be a little different, child. We be celebrating. It's a time, and it's unfortunate because a lot of times that's the only time that we come together to celebrate, when somebody done went home. But at the same time, a time was had. Okay, just know that a time was had, because it's like unity ain't no fool. Well, sometimes it be some foolishness. It just depends on some things. But the Lord was speaking specifically to doing things that are just kind of like, why is that? And who, and this ain't no judgment. I just couldn't imagine, like, y'all do that. Like, what that do? Me question. I don't know. Like, what's the point of it? Right. So that's what the Lord was speaking to in reference to, or at least what how it was explained to me, is people grieve differently, but we grieve differently knowing the life that's promised after this, eternal life, right? The priests present the offerings to God. Their assignment brought them into regular contact with sacred things. So access creates accountability. Message. Okay. Access creates accountability. The closer you are, the more, and this is, and the Lord even gave this, and I might have written it somewhere. If you teaching, if the Lord has given you a teaching assignment, however you teaching, whatever your assignment is, look, that accountability is real. If he's giving you people to lead, if he's giving you people to shepherd, if he's giving you people to watch over, whatever he has entrusted you with, honey, that accountability hit different. I'm telling you now. And one thing that this talks about a lot, because we're getting ready to talk about it, is, baby, you can't just be your calling. You got to be in public and private what you are in public. What you say, I said, you got to be in private what you are in public. That's where a lot of people mess up. I'm not judging. I done been guilty before. I could put on, not as much now, because the Lord got my spirituals in order. But there have been times when, baby, you could have seen me one way and met me outside and I was a whole different way. I'm talking about what? Baby, thank God for growth. Can we just thank God for growth? Because what? Baby. So one thing certain, two things for sure. Ain't no play about us, depending on, and this is regardless. You should be the same person regardless, right? But ain't always. Let me tell you, thank God for God. Baby, I don't care what day you catch Touche. Honey. No. Big accountability. Why? Because even if y'all can't see me, now I'm pretty transparent. I ain't got no secrets. I ain't got no skeletons. Baby, my life an open book. I ain't got nothing to hide. You can't be like, oh, let me go find some on Touche, baby. I done told it, honey. You ain't gonna get me like that, right? But once, woo, when I was outside, my God, in heaven, when I was outside, baby, the cut up energy was real. Do you understand? Thank God that God has his eyes on me. This why, even we talked about this a couple chapters ago. Even though people can't see you, God can. Drop that in the chat. What's done in the dark, nah, was done in the dark. And you know something, and this is something, now this is something more recent that the Lord had to check me about. Truestory.com. You can do something and you ain't even doing it with bad intentions. But sometimes, man, listen, okay, now if you new to the message, don't come over here with no religiosity in your spirituals. We not on that. Real talk, real conversations, real tarot, all the things. Okay, so let me tell y'all. And you ain't got to admit this if you don't want to. Baby, I done been the other woman, right? You know what'll keep me from ever putting another woman in the other woman spot? Because I done been the other woman. I done been on both sides of the other woman. I done been the other woman, and then I done been the other woman. You understand? Sometimes you don't even do stuff intentionally. But then there be times where there was this one time I say, you know, Lord, I don't think that's a conversation I need to be having. Because no, because how would she feel if she knew that he was having that conversation with me? Huh? I'm talking about made me cut it all the way off. Why? Because God is watching me like, well, how would you feel if you was on the other side of that? And I'm talking about, baby, dead conversation, dead. Nothing else to say. You right. Because I done been the other woman. And I can remember being that woman. And I can remember being that woman. And I say, no, I ain't going to be able to do it, baby. Let me not put her in that's how God be changing your heart for real. Because and it may have just been something very innocent. It could, I'm telling you, it was completely innocent. It wasn't even none to it. But I don't even want to feel some type of way, even if it's innocent, man. Anyway, I'm telling you, because you are innocent, maybe the other person is not, man. Listen, so I hope that makes sense to somebody. It's just like, listen, you got to be the same person in private that you are in public. That don't mean everybody got the blessing. I call it a blessing to be fully transparent about their life. I have the Lord has blessed me with that, and I'm so happy, so grateful. But let me tell you what now. The Lord be knowing. Don't, and guess what? Sometimes what you do in private has public consequences. Moving on. Teachers are responsible for what they teach. Okay, let me go back. Moses, and you had unusual access, so he had unusual accountability, right? Teachers are responsible for what they teach, leaders for how they lead, and you have to look how carefully I must steward what God has entrusted to me. It's heavyweight. Is heavyweight, y'all. Before you go talking about I want to be chosen, shoot, God, hey, because what? Wait till the Lord choose you. You gonna be like, wait, stop doing what now? Different levels of accountability. Something that the Lord give you gonna require you to walk away, move, sacrifice, that obedience. Just telling you. So be mindful. People be talking, want to walk around talking about I'm chosen. Baby, do you know what chosen means? Do you understand chosen? Thank you, Lord, for choosing me. Drop that in the chat, because I don't want anybody to think I'm ungrateful. I am very, very grateful, because it has made a significant difference in my life. But my God in heaven, had I known what I was gonna have to walk, what you ought to be get somebody else to do it. Because now, now, no. What you mean? I say this all the time. Y'all think I be playing. What you mean live in a car for 2.5 years? For what? Why I had to choose that lesson when you sent me down here, Lord? Man, look. So you be mindful when you go to telling the Lord to choose me, Lord. Be mindful when you say, Lord, send me. Because every person, I came, and maybe it's some that didn't. Every person in the Bible, for the most part, that we have read about, had to go through something to get to where they going. David out there running, living in caves. Like he running for his life all the time. You got to go through something good. And depending on what is coming after that, man, look, sometimes your something be something, don't it? Anyway, calling is public and private. Your whole life as a priest is consecrated, not just your public life. The platform doesn't create the calling. Okay. Who you are when nobody is watching matters too, not just when you're on. Now, me, because I'm foolish, I started singing Wipe Me Down because I'm on. Because I'm on. I pull up at the club, VIP, gas tank on, eat, but all scripture on me. Anyway, I'm back. Savage life. The high priest had been marked for an assignment. Okay, so if you got some work to do, you got to know that when the Lord chooses you to do something, you got to be who you're supposed to be when you own and when you off, right? Greater responsibility, greater consecration. Thank you, Jesus, for Jesus. I said it again. Thank you, Jesus, for Jesus, for healing and not excluding those who had issues. Because when I was reading this, I say, well, what you mean, Lord, that the little children who have some kind of deformities or have some kind of blemish, if you will, like what you mean? I be asking the Lord real question. I say, I feel like this is the beginning of segregation. Me, because I be like, Dad, I feel like this is, I guess that's why when Jesus came, he was so partial to the people who had been excluded, the black sheep and them. I say, I guess that's why he was so partial to them. I say, but can you see where it started, like the origins of it? I be looking at stuff like that. I don't even know if that makes sense. I'd be like, we be so focused on Jews and Gentiles, and that's cool, but at the same time it's created a lot of division that we're still dealing with, especially, and we know, like, it is what it is. Black and brown people, right? Other cultures, other races, we continue to see this over and over and over. If you read the Bible, like, oh, okay, well, it had its origins back then. It had its origins at Cain and Abel. I don't if you understand, you understand it. You feel how you want to feel, but we start to see those divisions from the very beginning. Even here, we see how people who aren't perfect can feel excluded. And I say, Lord, I don't like that. I was like, Daddy, I don't feel like that's right. He was like, he didn't say that they were any less worthy, but it was setting up a perfect Jesus. And I say, I still feel how I feel. The Lord didn't get mad. I'm gonna ask my questions. And so it's a understand. I said that's why I said thank Jesus for Jesus, right? Because he came in and his healing focused on not the people who knew the word, knew the scripture, knew the law, was obedient in tithing with even the herbs, on the people who he came in and included the excluded almost primarily. I hope that makes sense. And then this is where I started having the conversation with the Lord, because I wrote, which makes me wonder if they really had understanding, or were they just basing it on their culture? And that's when the Lord explained it to me. And it's just like, there were things that they were familiar with because of Egypt. And so he took some of those things and reworked it, if you will, so that it would be beneficial for them, instead of trying to come in and completely cleanse the slate, if that makes sense. Identity is established first. You belong to me. Then consecration is like, okay, since you're mine, live like you belong to me. And then with responsibility, if I entrust you with something sacred, steward it accordingly. Calling is a responsibility, not just a privilege. Everybody don't want everybody don't want it, and people be thinking they want it. You don't want it until when you understand what it comes with. When you understand, like, God holds you to a higher standard, kingdom standards, it makes people change their mind. It's why people say, wait a minute, that's too much, that's too restrictive. It's like because the Lord we have boundaries, we have things that the Lord's like, no, don't do that. No, don't cheat, don't deceive, don't lie, don't steal, don't do those things. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. You want me to give up everything? Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And it's not that the Lord is trying to deprive us of anything, but yeah, we have boundaries. Because we're trying to be a reflection, or we're working to be a reflection of the King. Access requires being chosen, means being more responsible. And some folks don't want to be responsible. And that's just that on that. We done all been through I don't want, maybe it was just me. Baby, I'm talking about wilding out. Honey, I was out there irresponsible with my money, with the thing, with my calling, with my, you can use my nursing license if you want to, irresponsible, reckless. And then you end up out there in the wilderness for 40 years, and then you be like, oh, how did I get here? Because you didn't want to be responsible with what God had given you. And sometimes it takes us a minute to get to responsible, because we don't even realize, because it's still the Egypt in us, right? Come on, the Egypt in us. You still want to live like the Joneses. You see somebody else being successful, so you chasing it, or you want to spend like they spend, but you ain't got your priorities together. It's things like that, y'all, where the Lord teaches us different. He teaches us stewardship, to live differently. Access requires stewardship. The closer the priests operated to sacred things, the more carefully they had to live. Consecration isn't punishment. Sometimes God's boundaries aren't rejection, they're preparation and protection for what he's entrusted to you. Your private life and public assignment aren't separate kingdoms. Character goes with you. Okay. Your character goes with you. Holiness doesn't mean absence of humanity. And we know that because Jesus later comes and fulfills what the priesthood could only symbolize. Your assignment doesn't determine your value, but it does determine your responsibility. Everybody ain't meant to be a millionaire. You can say it. You can say it. Yeah, but how you going to it's like, how are you going to choose to become that? Everybody don't have that assignment. Everybody doesn't have an assignment to be wealthy. Everybody doesn't have an assignment to be a celebrity, a superstar, an actor, a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer. Everybody got different responsibilities, right? But your assignment doesn't determine your worth. or your value. Okay. Every level requires greater stewardship. Level up. Maybe it's just me. Is anybody in the building leveling up? And you know you are, because the Lord has shown you that you are leveling up in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Shout Jared as an example. It's just like, okay, he's leveling up from master's to doctorate. Okay. When the Lord show you, it's like, okay, but you got to take that step. But with different levels, different responsibility, right? Different stewardship. Jesus is our example, uses his position to serve, sacrifice, intercede, and bring people into God's presence. He wasn't going around talking about I'm Jesus, so worship me. He was being an example. He led by example, right? He continues to lead us by example. What has God actually entrusted to you in this season? What is your assignment? I don't know what your assignment is. I know what mine is. And a lot of times, by the time when you start leveling up, you have more than one. It's like the assignments work in what y'all just said, concurrence. A mess. When your assignments, you got more than one. I can remember back in the gap when I had like one thing to do, and that was it. We ain't in that one thing to do season. Many of us, some of y'all might be, but you may find that you're juggling multiple things. You have multiple things going on, because the Lord will teach you. He will, it's like baby steps, milk and meat, right? He's not going to give you more than you can bear. He's just not. If you can't multitask, then he's going to keep you with one task, and that's going to be your assignment. Once he knows he can level you up, he'll add something else. Once he knows you can handle both of those things without cracking and without, oh my gosh, this is too much, he'll add something else. You start leveling up with the Lord, and baby, you got about 17. I'm talking about calendar be full. I ain't got time. I ain't got time. That's why. And then that's also where you start looking at your time a little differently. Because one, eventually, especially in entrepreneurs, you understand this, baby. That trading time for money. What? This what? And I mean this respectfully. One of the first things that made me know that I was supposed to have a business is because I was like, I'm not making enough. This money talk. No, I'm not making enough money for this. Like, what? I'm giving an hour of my time for what? Huh? No, it's got to be something else. It's got to be a better way. This can't be what the Lord had meant me to do my whole life. Maybe I'm on the one that started having that conversation with self. I say, it got to be something else, honey, because this can't be it. You ever looked at your paycheck and said, you mean I gave all of this time that I can't get back? You can make more money. But you ever, maybe, I don't know, because baby, I say, hold on. What? For the amount of work, man, can I tell y'all, I had this talk with the Lord on yesterday. Business 101, entrepreneurship 202. You ever realize a lesson? The Lord finna take y'all, some of y'all, not everybody. You gonna have to learn a lesson. You gonna have to learn it the hard way, and you ain't really gonna lose in the lesson. Okay, let me be clear. You're not gonna lose in this lesson, but it's going to teach you something about the way you're going to move forward. This is being this. You can take this how it resonates, but this is speaking to like business, right? And yesterday we had this long talk about discernment. Let me just tell y'all, it's almost like you don't know until you go through it. It's not that your discernment is wrong. It's not that you made the wrong decision, but sometimes, and I literally walked this out on yesterday, sometimes you have got to go through it so you know better the next time. There was something that I ended up having to go through and still going through, but it had to teach me something. So the Lord said this is what he meant yesterday by good decisions versus God decisions. There's certain lessons that you can only learn through experience, especially if you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? So yesterday I had that moment with the Lord where it's just like, yeah, my time is valuable. It's how the Lord is going to give you understanding. So again, the Lord may be getting ready to give you an experience, and it's not that you're going to lose in the experience, but you're going to learn some stuff about yourself, your business, how valuable your time is. You're going to learn some things, but you have to go through it in order to be able to learn it. There's no way around it, because you don't know what you don't know. And as good as discernment is, oh man, let me say that. Thank y'all. The other part of this is what worked in one season ain't gonna work in this new season. Does that make sense? I'm gonna use pricing as an example, product pricing, right? Best example I got. Some of y'all have ordered from Touche Cosmetics. Y'all know I gave birth to Touche Cosmetics when I was in my car, right? Living in my car, homeless, all the things. If you got Touche Cosmetics when I was living in my car, you got a handmade. Where's my palette? Let me just grab one so I can show y'all. So if you met me in the car, you got a palette, handmade, hand pressed palette. Maybe not these colors, right? This is the Queen of Water palette. You got one of these that I was in the car mixing, manufacturing, measuring, prepping. You got this palette for $11.11. So maybe you ordered when Touche got an apartment, right? So you might have got said palette for $19.19, right? Same process, different environment. Listen at me. When it was 11, do you understand that I was in a season where I was homeless, y'all. I was living in a car. I needed resource. I needed something. Thank y'all. Shout out to thank you so much for those of you who purchased when I was in the pit. But the Lord taught me a valuable lesson on yesterday. This is a true story, y'all. Let me move this cord. I have a 20 pallet order right now. 20 pallets. That's 80 pressed pans. Not me have a machine. This is Touche sits down, preps, cleans, prepares, hand presses, puts them together, packages, gets them ready. 20, right? I say, Lord, Lord, it's one thing when you're doing a pallet at a time. It's a whole nother thing when you're doing 20. And the Lord said this a lesson in business. Shout out to my business owners. You don't know what you don't know, right? And I'm very honest about y'all know I'm becoming an entrepreneur. This ain't something I ain't been no mentors. This is the Lord showing me, building me a business from scratch. You understand? So things that I'm sharing, this is not, this is me. Okay, Lord, you sending me to business school, entrepreneurship school, not nursing school, entrepreneurship, business, accounting, marketing, business 101, microeconomics. Listen now. So when I'm telling you stuff, I'm not telling you because I then was her winning. I've been listening to this, been hearing about this. Somebody went and told me, I went it. No, because I promise you, when you are starting a business message, this is not stuff that you know. Back in my 11-11, I'm in the car 2.5 years homeless season. You could have got this pallet for 11-11. Why? Because I just needed something. Man, I was just trying to eat. I was trying to survive. It was struggle. Some of you are going to learn, and maybe that's why the Lord is having me to share it. It has nothing to do with the person who ordered. It has everything to do with how you have to understand how your prices in your struggle season may not reflect your prices in your true entrepreneurship season. Man, listen, I'm telling you, because what I could do for 11.11. Do y'all realize that when I was in the car, when I was just trying to eat, and I was charging $11.11 for this, and then I did flat rate shipping of $6. I wasn't even making $10 profit completely. Man, listen now, what worked in your struggle season ain't gonna work in your true entrepreneurship season. When I tell y'all you can go on my website right now. The only thing you can get right now is a touche cotton. Let me show you. This is it. Because I had to talk with the Lord. I say, Lord. No, because it's different when you start having to produce things in bulk. You have to start looking at how 80, man, I can't even. And the thing about Touche Cosmetics is it's actually, I hand make these. I mix the ingredients, measure, mix, prepare, produce. I'm a manufacturing. Okay. I'm not ordering from somebody and then putting stuff in a pallet. And then, no, I'm sitting down and mixing this myself. Had to get with the FDA, the FEI, like all the things legit. Listen, man, I hope this helps somebody. Please write this down, because what you do in your struggle season is not going to work. And when God start giving you your increase season, and when you start having to do 20 pans, 20 pallets versus one pallet, it's like, oh, that's cool. No, that ain't going to work. Who? Again, I didn't take a L. But what I'm doing, what I'm ending up doing is understanding, oh man, this is time. It takes time to prep, to get ready to make eyeshadows and glosses. It's production. Man, look, I hope that helps somebody. What work in your struggle don't work in your increase season, because when the Lord increases you, look, Pam says same with candle making. Baby, listen at me. You start a pallet here and there. It's like, okay, cool. 20 pallets. I'm so grateful. But I say, man, that's like 4 days worth of work. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. I say, that's 4 days worth of work. Y'all have no idea. That's all I get. That's why I came today. I got a t-shirt, babe. I'm in the glam lab today. I ain't got time for nothing else. I guess that's why the Lord said, I don't get these miles at yes, because it's Team Glam Lab today. Why? Because I got 20 pallets. Good morning, Miss Succulent. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Mindy. Anyway, listen now. So when the Lord, so people be mad about you, man, y'all have the lesson. I'm not even going to completely go into the lesson in this particular order. But I told the Lord, and the Lord told me, baby, that lamb, baby, it served its season. It did. I promise you, if you got, did I sign it? I should have signed my name on it. Cause baby, I promise you, it can't be no 11 pallets. Can't be, I ain't, huh? They went, cause guess what? When the people then went up on how much it costs for the products you have to use, the shipping then went up, everything went up, but me, no. So it's one of them break even moments. I hope that makes sense to somebody. But how did the Lord teach me? By allowing me to go through it, then giving me revelation that it's just like, oh, the math ain't mathing. Lord, hold on. Hold on. Discernment. Beautiful. But I couldn't have known that without going through that experience. Sandy, those hours of labor are worth some. I'm talking about what? So business 101. I be trying to share stuff that I'm learning, not stuff that I think, stuff that I'm like, hey man, I'm I for real went through this. Like, I ain't telling you, listen now, even production has to be included. Your labor, you ever get mad? You ever been mad because you go and have to get something done on your car, and you mad because the labor costs more than the parts? Huh? Thank y'all. Thank y'all, little mechanic auto people, them, because baby, let me tell you, I got some understanding as I'm finna sit down and press 80. pallets. 80, 80, 80. I'm here for it though. I say thank you, Lord. It won't happen again. Drop that in the chat. Message, ears started ringing and everything. The Lord know my heart. I say never again. T, time, effort, attention. Telling you, that's the T. In clear. Okay, I'm moving on. You right, because I had a moment. Them lessons. Excuse me, y'all. Moving on. Moving on. Okay, here we go. Greater responsibility. Isn't permission to become more important. It's a call to become more accountable. Jesus becomes the answer to what the law in Leviticus couldn't do. The law revealed the standards of God, but Jesus reveals God's heart. The old system was built around protecting holy things from contamination. Jesus demonstrates holiness powerful enough to transform what it touches, right? Look, Pam said, I'm starting to get that. Oh, that's a lot on my law. I'm talking about what? The paint, the canvas, the time. Listen, Pam said, I'm sorry, but the cost is a cost due to increase in supply cost and my T. What? T, time, effort, and attention. Man, listen, I be trying to share stuff because you're going to go. I don't want to go into a lot of it because I'm not familiar with it, but I've been seeing a lot on the internet about, people going and paying a whole lot of money to learn about business and to learn things from these people who have been quote unquote successful. I don't know how successful. That's why I'm quoting it. I don't know. Because it's not for me to know. I'm not counting nobody money. But I also said, like, man, I done been a dummy. I done paid for some wisdom and left with absolutely nothing. Man, that's why I be trying to share stuff with people. If you as a beginning entrepreneur, listen, because you'll go, man, can I tell somebody this real quick? You'll go and pay for stuff and you'll leave with less than you came with. You can listen to people tell you, but they ain't gonna tell they gonna tell. And man, can I take this back one step further? Remember, I told y'all, I said I'm not doing another Faith and Flow for finances. I'm not doing a whole group. And I didn't understand it, but over the last couple of days, the Lord said, that's why you feel that way. Why? Because, man, I don't want to be that person that charges somebody for something. And now let me tell you this as well. You got to be accountable. You got to do some stuff yourself. You can't expect somebody to just feed you. And I heard the word bird feed you, where you want somebody to give you the meat, cut your meat, chew your meat, and then feed you. No, you got to do your part. But I also told the Lord, I said, man, I didn't paid for conferences. I didn't paid for classes. I didn't paid for stuff like this and left and been like, yeah, I still don't even know what to do. I ain't got a clue where to start. That's why I come on here and I share my entrepreneurial journey with y'all. Cause I'll be like, man, I ain't know. How you supposed to know? You don't know. Unless, and then but you're gonna pay somebody that's supposed to give you knowledge, and they gonna get up there and give you a motivational speech, and that beating pissed me off again because I'd already been there. Anyway, so I be trying to share stuff for the frizzle. Cause listen now, you gonna make up, you go out there and pay somebody, and you could have used that 200 too. I think they said $200. I say, for what? What you getting for $200 besides a motivational speech that you can go listen to on YouTube? Oh, okay. Now I said what I said. Why? Because I done been a dummy and paid hundreds of dollars for knowledge that I couldn't even use. Why? Because I wasn't at step 10. I was at step 0. What you say? I wasn't at it wasn't even step 10, baby. It was like step 37. Come on, 30. I wasn't at step 37. I wasn't even at 0. Didn't have an LLC. Didn't know nothing about nothing, y'all. But I was up there talking about, yeah, my business finna scale. What? Huh? Bitch, you ain't even got a business. Anyway, I'm back. Because I'm just saying. Man, if I could save somebody. Didn't even know what it was. heavy on the YouTube, because it's gonna be on the internet. God's good internet can tell you anything. Now, what you got to be mindful of, this where your discernment come in, when your spiritual start telling you like, man, I ain't really getting nothing. Pay attention to that. Okay, pay attention to that, because if you don't feel like you getting nothing, you might not be listening to the right person. And that's in multiple areas of life. That could be the person you getting your wisdom from. Like, what are you getting? My prayer is every time you come on here, you get something that makes you be like, you put something in your spirituals to be like, Lord, that kind of spoke to me. And you go back to the Lord and be like, hey, she said something that I might be tripping, or a confirmation, like Pam just said with her candles and her painting. It's just like, listen, I pray that you receive something every time you come on this message. That's my prayer every morning, right? Where it's just like, Lord, maybe give me the strength, the wisdom, the courage, the knowledge, the insight, and the understanding to do the things you put me here to do. Help me, Lord, to lead, guide, and serve in a way that pleases you. You got to learn something from the people you getting wisdom from now. Don't just be out here throwing your money away, because then that's the kind of, it's like that stewardship is responsibility. And then you don't understand. It's just like, oh man, story for another day. I hope that makes sense to somebody. Let's get the kingdom clarity for today. Here we go. I love the Lord. I love the Lord. We got the star card that's coming out again. The energy, we talked about the star already this week. Was it this week, y'all? I know I studied about it in Matthew 2. I think we did we have the star card already this week? Here go the Lord. Here we go. Hold on, because when he show up, it's because of your faith. It's a message called "It's Because of Your Faith." Somebody might need to go watch that message. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. Child, it be so many. How we got this many cards and it's just Wednesday? What y'all got? What y'all got going on? Child, I don't know. I'm tired of looking for it. It's because of your faith. Look, the star power card right there. Um, Man, y'all, the Lord is doing something. Message. Oh, yeah, we did. There's a star right there. So we already had the star card on this week already. So this is faith, right? And we know Abraham, some of y'all, this is relocation, the Lord moving you into a new area, new destination. What did it come out with? Period. Romans 8:28. We receive it. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. We just got done talking about calling, y'all. Imagine when the Lord called Abraham's name. Can you imagine when he say, go, go over there? You got to leave everything, leave your father's house, leave from over there. You got to go to a land that I will show you. But man, the blessings that waited for him in that land, right? This is also, the star card is also a card of divine guidance. It is your spirit guides. That's my grandmama card as well. So for some of you, this is like your faith. I just heard your faith is not misplaced. Okay, you're moving in the right direction. Okay. Proverbs 13 and 14. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. That wisdom gonna keep you safe. When this one of them, I feel like this one of them, when you know better, you do better. And when the Lord allows me to share stuff, y'all, it just be like, man, it's again, you can't become wise to something. And this is this is me saying this, right? The way you learn wisdom is going through experience. You can hear someone else's wisdom and you can benefit from that. But man, you're a lot wiser when you know something, because you have seen it, experienced it, you have felt it, you know what it is, versus somebody just telling it to you. So I hope that makes sense. It ain't nothing like a little understanding. Ain't nothing like a little understanding. Okay. What else, Lord? Time to meditate, connect with nature, prayer, me time, and read a book. And y'all know we're going to clarity these. There may be something that you need to learn, or that you're going to learn in your quiet time with the Lord, right? When I'm reading the Bible, man, the Lord be giving revelation, and it makes me understand why certain situations had to happen, why it had to happen this way. I told y'all that yesterday. there are certain times it's like that quiet time with the Lord where he's finally, it's like he's able to actually explain to you or give you revelation about something that you didn't understand. So this is the importance of making sure that you're giving the Lord that time, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need wisdom for where you're going so you don't get got. You're gonna need the Lord to be explaining stuff to you. Why y'all bringing cars out in twos? There may be something that's going to happen in twos as well. Oh, this is okay. This says all about you. This is secretly competing with you, egotistical. And then it came out with the third party card. Someone or something else is involved, outside influences. First things first, we just talked about this. It's like you have to be, you can look good on the outside and have an ugly inside. What's your spirit like? Okay. Like, are you showing up as the same person, or are you being influenced by other people? We talked about performance on yesterday. You don't have to perform. The Lord, if the Lord has already established you and decreed and declared that you are a thing, then you are that, right? So it's not about performance. It's not about trying to look good. It's about trying to be good. Okay. I hope that makes sense to somebody. What else, Lord? This a lot. One more, because it's a lot now. Just putting that out there. Oh, period. I saw this card, not this one, but I saw the Emperor card earlier. We have divine masculine that is coming in next. Provider, protector, abundance, security. This is like the Emperor, order, structure. Let me just say this to somebody. What confidence check? Look good for you, not for somebody else. Look good for you, not because you trying to attract. What y'all, that's a mess. It's like, make sure that you, it's like, feel good about you, right? I saw I think his name is, I think his, I don't know his first name. It may be Schuler King. Shout out Schuler King. He showed a picture of a celebrity, right? I'm not even gonna say who it was, but he showed her with makeup and without makeup, and I laughed about it, right? Because spirit and glam. But let me just say this to somebody. Ain't nobody, is everybody has their preference about how they want their to look, or their person to look. But do what feels good for you. Don't allow somebody, man, where is this coming from? It's like, don't allow somebody to try to make you feel any type of way. Baby, I look good with this glam on or with it off. I don't have, it's like, if somebody needs like a confidence check like that, where it's like, you don't have to, don't let somebody else try to determine what's good, what looks good about you. A mess. Mm, baby, because who's the judge? Who's the judge of that? This is like some love yourself energy, but we'll get down there to that. Let's see what else is coming out. The Lord may be calling some of us to step out on faith. There may be something new and additional that the Lord wants us to do. We finna ClariTEA, this star card, and Romans 8 and 28. All that do it. Let's get to it. Here we go. Because honey, look, that faith, man, your faith is gonna take you places. A hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies ends up in poverty. This is Proverbs 28:19. Faithful work creates provision. We've been talking about provision since I went to provision last week. If you hadn't seen that story, Kingdom Travels, you can go watch it. The Lord has, let me say, what's something else? And I just studied about this. I don't even remember. Maybe it was in Matthew 4. It's like, for some of you, it's understanding when the Lord calls you into something, and the word he specifically used in my Bible study is, you don't have to manufacture provision. You don't have to try to go out and chase it for yourself. It's going to come to you. Thank y'all. Example, angels. So in my Bible study, which we already know this story, Jesus goes out into the wilderness. He's tempted, blah, blah, blah. And then after he tells Satan, go on now, okay, you ain't gone on, then the angels come to attend him. Jesus didn't, man, this is so crazy how the Lord be connecting this. Jesus didn't have to manufacture help. He didn't have to do something. And this is where sometimes we have to be mindful. It's like, he didn't have to try to force the angels, or he refused to force the angels into action. When you allow the Lord to give it to you, it's like us trusting that the Lord is going to give it to you. He'll give you the help. You don't have to try to go and create it. Does that make sense? I hope I said that right. The angels were already there waiting to attend to the Lord. So he didn't have to, it's like tempted. Thank y'all. It's like tempted, it's like testing the Lord. I mentioned this, I think on Monday, maybe it was one day last week, where sometimes it's almost like testing the Lord. If the Lord blesses you with something, yes, there are times when the Lord will tell you, like, okay, do something else with it. But it's like, if the Lord gives you provision, just make sure that you're doing with that provision what the intention was. Because if you take it and you do something else, and there's going to be a temptation, man. Okay, it's like the Lord is going to bless you, right? There's a blessing he's going to give you. He's going to give you something very specific. And the temptation is the enemy coming in trying to tell you to do something else with that, or him sending in, him sending in something to try to make you use or mismanage the resource. Does that make sense? Be mindful, because the enemy is no longer attacking us blatantly. He's going to try to do things that, even it's almost like, even if you did it, you would do it with good intentions, but that's not what the Lord gave you that blessing for. Does that make sense? Do with God's provision what God told you to do with the provision. I hope that makes sense to somebody, because it's not always your responsibility to come to somebody's rescue. It's not always, and because you'll look at it as you're doing a good thing, and it's not that it's a bad thing, but you also have to, it's like it's almost like you stepping in and doing something for someone is going to keep somebody from learning a lesson. It's like the Lord with us. You have to learn. And if somebody, it's like, man, it sounds kind of harsh, but I'm tracking with it. It's like, if you keep coming to somebody's rescue, how are they going to learn how to be a better steward? Does that make sense? You have to let other people walk out their consequences. It's almost like enabling. Don't enable. It's like you can't continue to enable someone, because if you keep saving them, then they gonna keep on putting themselves in dire straits. I don't know. Okay, I hope that makes sense to somebody. Productivity, harvest, diligence, inheritance, and this is a part of you learning stewardship as well. You can be, yes, you're blessed to be a blessing, but you don't want to be the one that's stopping someone else from learning their lessons either. Okay. I hope that makes sense to somebody. What else, Lord? Message 411. Next card to come in: divine knowledge being passed down, secret and hidden information, receiving divine instructions. So for many of us, we're also receiving information, wisdom. We're receiving the next steps that we need to receive as well. Let me just say, man, can I talk about that? Let me just say this to somebody real quick for the people in the back. One thing we understand, again, and this is something the Lord, and I don't understand why the Lord has me studying it, where he has me at, literally studying concurrently the New and the Old Testament, which is what we've been doing anyway, but just in a different way. Let me make somebody understand that it's going to be people who want to continually try to test you, test your authority, and we see this in the beginning. Before Jesus's public ministry, he was tested before three different times in three different ways. So think it not strange when the Lord is getting ready to send you on a new assignment, that there are people who are going to try to test your authority. They're going to try to test your wisdom. They're going to try to test who you really say that you are. But understand this: God said in Matthew 3 who you are. This is my son. And we know that this is not gender specific. Son is a child of God. Okay. So for some of you, as you're getting ready to go into this new assignment, and the Lord is putting you in new spheres of awareness, he's putting you on other people's radar. There are people whose whole assignment is going to be in and come in to test your identity. This is why we have been discussing, man, I feel this in my spirituals. This is why we've been discussing for the last week, that you got to know who you are, irregardless, because it's going to be some folks that's going to try to say, well, if you are, it's almost like having to prove yourself. This is why this all about you card down here. You don't have to prove yourself. God already said it. That's why I dropped this in the chat. I know who I am. But it's almost like the enemy gonna keep on trying to come in and test you and see, like, okay, are you really who you say you are? Or whatever this is. Do you really want what you say you want? Can you really do what you say that you can do? But again, go back to Matthew 3. The Lord tells us before Jesus is tested, the Lord shows us that he had already declared who Jesus was. Okay. I hope that makes sense to somebody. It's almost like, don't get frustrated, don't get mad, don't feel no type of way. That's why you have to know who you are. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. That's what's on that. What else, Lord? Think it not strange when the testing comes. Think it not strange when people want to try to validate and verify based on their standards. We ain't on people standards. Now that's what this is about. We not on people standards, we on God standards. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Okay. 133, growth in your finances, something to be excited about. Be grateful and receive more. And this is in addition, this is in response to your calling, right? Your calling comes with increase. For some of you, this may be increased influence. Remember, we're talking about stewardship. We're talking about as the Lord sends you out. This is why he's like, hey, you're more accountable. I hold you to a different standard. The more access you have, the better you need to be. Do we always get it right? No, because we ain't perfect, right? But it's understanding that with this calling, with this assignment, increase is coming as well. So for some of you, your promotion is coming with additional finances and responsibilities, but just know you got to still do right. The Lord already, he took us through a stewardship season. That's where we be in that robbing Peter to pay Paul, because he has to make sure if you were tithing, and let me be very clear, tithe where you feel led. Okay. Tithe where you feel led. If you let me, because something the Lord has made me, and understanding this, sometimes you're not in a financial tithing season. And I hope this will make sense to somebody. Sometimes all you have to give is your time, effort, attention, right? Tithing doesn't always mean money. Sometimes it's continuing to show up as evidenced by, man, I ain't had no money, but the Lord still made me get up every day and come give this message, even when I was in the car, when I was trying to sell $11.11 eyeshadow palettes, right? So, but as he's leveled me up, it's also been a different requirement for what I'm able to give. So for those of you who the Lord is getting ready to bless financially, understand this. You choose, man, I just got to chill. You choose where you give financially, but something that the Lord, and I try to stick with this, I tithe down. I don't tithe up. What do I mean by that? I give to people who are in need versus giving to people who have already leveled up financially. And that's just my rule for that. If I'm blessed to be a blessing, help someone who needs the help. And this doesn't necessarily mean so. And I, again, give to your church, because your pastors, a worker deserves his wages. Okay. This ain't easy work to do. They have a church to maintain, but you can also find other ways to help those that are less fortunate, because I don't know who needs this part of the message. It's almost like, don't give to your church and then complain that you don't see nothing happening in the church. You don't see nothing, like you steady tithing every week, but you're not seeing the benefit of that. Now, mind you, if you go and sit in that church every Sunday, every Wednesday for Bible study, baby, you benefiting from it, because it's not an easy thing. You got to have some resources. But if you feel some type of way, it's like, don't give and then complain about it. If you feel like they're not doing the right things with their money, then why you keep giving them your money, honey? Go give your money to the Salvation Army, or you could buy somebody something to eat on the street. Does that make sense? Like, don't give and then complain about giving. Change your giving. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. And when the Lord bless you with new money, new resources, find somebody who could benefit from that. It's like philanthropy. I don't know. Anyway, be grateful and receive more. Okay. I hope that makes sense to somebody. It's just like the Lord say, don't complain about it, change it, because you have the ability to change it. So if you don't like it, then make the change. Okay. You can do something different about it. What else, Lord? Message. This what I be talking about. Look, Luke 6:38. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. We just talked about be grateful. Is this is something to be excited about? We just get done talking about tithing? Anyway, I hope that made sense to somebody. For those of you message, good morning, Kay. Good morning. You need to open the flow of abundance, baby. Go give something to somebody. Give some to somebody. You donate. Donate. Oh, I don't care, baby. I was until y'all like this is how serious this was. I was finna go donate my uniforms because I was just like, oh, I'm done with nursing. The Lord say, fool, yeet. To donate that, you still need them, right? When I was getting ready to be homeless, I donated everything I could donate. There's something you can give, and it's not always financial. We be so stuck on money, 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 money. It ain't that. Sometimes you can volunteer. Sometimes it's like, and I had this talk with the Lord, man. One of the things that the Lord looks at that I know from personal experience is like, man, when you just keep showing up, doing the work, especially, and for those of you, maybe you an entrepreneur, maybe you just have understanding of this, you keep showing up and you ain't getting paid for it. That's how that's thank y'all. That's also speaking to calling. It's that thing that you gonna get up and do, and you ain't getting a dime for it. You're not getting nothing. But when I tell you with the but you when you it's like being paid in the spirit. I hope that makes sense to somebody. Some of y'all finna find your calling that way because it's the thing that you're gonna be like, man, I don't get a dime from this, but I love to do it. I could do it every day. I could show that's how you start to know what you're called. Part of it, and it's not the full thing, but it's like what you're called to do. That thing that make you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hello, that mean that coming on here giving this message every day up at 3 a.m. I be up on the weekends, ain't even got to be up still. Well, I guess I get up and do Bible study because that's my normal routine. I can't even hardly sleep late. I woke up and then I try to go back to sleep. I was like, man, it's 9 o'clock. I something wrong. Why? Because this is giving too. So the Lord will he'll start to call you into something that you do just for the sake of doing it. Sometimes it's something creative. What is that thing that you can just show up and keep doing? The Lord recognizes giving in that way as well. Now, as a result of that, if you keep on showing up and keep on being willing to put effort into that, the Lord will begin to bless it. You ain't got to believe me. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. You show up when you don't want to. You show up when you don't feel like it. You show up when you're a little tired. You show up and be like, man, y'all, I come on here all the time, be like, man, y'all, it was one of them mornings, but I'm here. Drop that in the chat. Here I am, Lord. Keep showing up. He's going to give you the financial, not recompense. Y'all don't fancy words today. You're going to be rewarded for that. So don't think that it's always going to be a season where you're just giving, giving, and giving and it's not being reciprocated. But this is also a testing where the Lord is like, is this really what you want to do? Like, are you really willing to put the effort into this? Because imagine him bless it, and then no sooner than the blessing come, then I don't even really want this for real. Like, what? No, most people who are successful, they didn't put some hard work into something and they've been putting the work in for a long time. Okay. Message I can't make it up. Communication with a page of swords is coming in as well. So for some of you, this could be downloads, and I don't even feel messy on this. The page of swords can be like quick communication. This could be revelation as well. This is wisdom. This is information, ideas. So for some of y'all, this is also the importance of this meditation. When you spend some time with the Lord by yourself, you close everything else down, put your phone down, just talk to the Lord. Okay. Now, I got to say this because this is out here. We have this third party down here. Some of you, because of the Lord, man, and the stars out here. Let me just say this for somebody as well. Part of what the Lord is going to be sending you through is a season of, and they just said criticism. It's going to be some folks that's going to be trying to criticize you. They're going to try to talk about you. Let me just say this because, baby, listen at me. There are things about me right now that it ain't no secret. It ain't anything that I broadcast. let's use weight. That's a good example. Thank y'all. Let's use weight for an example. Baby, I'm a big girl. I went to the doctor the other day. I'm still 200 pounds. 200, okay? But I can remember when I used to be 300. Mm. Who, man, look. Hmm. So I need somebody to understand this. You ain't supposed to look like everybody else. Baby, if you me, and I'm not knocking anybody that's bigger. But I can remember I posted on Facebook. I didn't posted it plenty of times. I can remember 300-pound touche. Okay. So 200-pound touche, baby, you can't make me feel no type of way about me. Makeup, it ain't got nothing to do with the glam, none of that. This why you don't let somebody try to make you feel some type of way, because you then made progress on self. I have an even better example, right? Because let me tell somebody who ain't ashamed. Man, this is full. This how you know the Lord and did some healing in you, right? There are things that people gonna talk about you for, but they don't even know what you had to do to get there. I use my teeth as an example, right? People don't understand that there was a season of my life when I had to go get every single tooth pulled in my mouth with no pain medication, nothing. Nothing. Do you understand? So you can't make me feel no type of way about my smile, baby, because there was a point in time when I couldn't smile, when I was embarrassed to open my mouth. I didn't understand why. Why? Because I didn't want to take prescription pills. Why? Because I had been through addiction. But see, people tried to low rate me because of that. Why would I be ashamed of something that God meant for good? Do you understand? Who needs it? I have never said that on the live before. But why would I be embarrassed about it? Because people don't understand what you have to go through to get to where God is taking you. Do you understand? These are the kinds of things, these are kind of wounds that the Lord will heal when you go get with him. Shame, embarrassment. When we talk about confidence check, don't let nobody, they don't know what you had to go through to get there. Huh? They don't know what I talk about homelessness because a lot of y'all saw me in homelessness. That may have been where you first encountered me. But baby, it was a whole lot that happened before that season. Does that make sense to somebody? Don't be ashamed of what you have had to experience to get where God is taking you. These are things that the Lord will say, baby, you can't be you, because they're going to talk about it anyway. She a big girl. Is and love every inch of me, honey. Every inch. And when the Lord send my husband, he gonna love it too. And what? Don't let nobody try to make you feel no type of way, because they don't know. Look, Kendra just said pain to purpose. You don't know what people had to go through in order for God to prepare you for where he's taking you. Does that make sense? Man, look. Some of y'all, it's also a season message. It's also a season that you have to go through where you gonna know people are trying to ridicule you. You gonna know they trying to talk about you. They trying to make you feel some type of way. Baby, you got to get to a season where y'all heard the cuss word in my spirituals. Man, forget them folks. And I ain't say it that nice in my spirit. Didn't meant it. Just saying. Don't worry about it. Who, baby? Because you don't want to cuss my inner spirituals. I'll do it for you. The Lord know my heart. Because what? I said what I said, baby. Like, I don't know who need that. It's just like, first of all, who you realize that most people that trying to talk about somebody, they got something that they ain't telling nobody they dealing with, and it's probably a whole lot worse than what they see you going through. Anyway, moving on. A mess, because who has time for this, baby? You can't make you can't make me feel no type of way about me. Meant it. Supermoon, making spiritual commitments, setting intentions, personal growth, heightened intuition. I know Baby, listen, because I'm here for the that's what and this is even speaking to Leviticus 21, the people who are ashamed or feel like they're diminished or they're defiled or they, have a blemish or something wrong. Baby, that's why Jesus loves me even more because of that. Do you understand? Because he knows I'm not perfect. Mm. Discipline, releasing the past. Baby, let that go. Let it go. Okay, let it go. People, everybody, somebody gonna have something to say regardless. That's all right. Keep talking. It's okay. Let them talk. Let them talk. Okay. This also feels like an opportunity. This is like shadow energy. I don't know what this is about back here, but it's like this shadow energy, baby. Jesus loves me just as I am. Okay, just as I am. I hope that makes sense to somebody. Heightened intuition and awareness. It's like, I don't know. It's man, when you get to a point, you just be like, man, I'm so good with me. I'm so good with me. Okay. Personal growth, development, all of those things. Okay. What else, Lord? Then it's not ego, it's confidence, because you have to have that. You still got to be able to walk into a room like you own it. Message completion. Okay, we have completion is coming in, end of a phase, expiration, leaving a situation, and finality. I feel like, again, y'all, we've already been in this transition energy where we're coming out of one season, but we're stepping into something else. So these are things that the Lord will be like, okay, is this good? Check. Are you okay? You good right here? Check. This is that testing, right? Before you exit the wilderness. The Lord's, it's like all of these things that'll happen as you're getting ready to come out, as you're stepping into the next season. Okay, let me make sure that you still good. Are you still in alignment here? This ain't something that you had to deal with in a while. So let me make sure that you're good here. And it's like all these little checks that the Lord's gonna make. He's like, it's like, okay, let me make sure you good, you Gucci. Okay, let's move forward, right? Because you're coming out of the wilderness. Some of the Lord that the Lord told me this morning as well. You might be coming out of one and going into another one. Why? Because it's going to be another training ground. I don't, is you have that in between point. It's like the Israelites coming out of Egypt before Canaan. We know we're going into Canaan, new assignment, new opportunity, new land. So we're in this wilderness, we're learning the lessons, we're doing the training, we're whatever we need to do, whatever the Lord needs to do in this in-between place, which I personally feel like is the kingdom, because when the Israelites got delivered, they were introduced to the kingdom where we are right now before they went into the promised land, if that makes sense. So exit Egypt, enter kingdom, enter Canaan. If that makes sense. That's the way the Lord has shown it to me, because they didn't know the kingdom until they got in the wilderness. So the something and even in my Bible study this morning, it's just like, don't knock the wilderness, because that's where you learn, that's where you're developed. Yes, the testing happens there, but you learn so much, and it's not always bad to be in the wilderness. Sometimes the wilderness, the testing is just en route to obedience, right? Next, Eight of Pentacles, that's coming in next. Personal development, hard work. Told y'all, this is where the Lord builds your character, integrity, morals, all the things, right? This is working on self, perseverance. This is where you become dedicated to your craft, dedicated to your assignment. You may also be in a season where you're picking up skills, you're learning. We never stop learning, right? Message, we're learning until we ain't here anymore. So for many of us, there may be something that the Lord is getting ready to send you into, because you have to increase your skills in some way. Maybe you are in the character development stage, and that's something, look, the Lord know my heart. He be working on me. And I can't even say I'm a bad person, because I'm not, but I am gonna say what I'm gonna. I don't really have to deal with people treating me any type of way. Let me just be very clear about that. I don't really have to deal with that, because I don't really deal with people who are on that type of time. And I mean that respectfully. Like, I don't really have a lot of people around me who are on that type of energy. The Lord, when the Lord, he'll prune those kind of people from around you. He'll put people around you, for the most part, who have good intentions, a good heart. You start to attract the kind of person that you are. I hope that makes sense. That doesn't mean everybody is that way. But some of you, thank y'all, some of you, it's like you're going to start to notice that, yeah, you may not be popular with one group of people. And that's okay, because what is that group of people actually representing? You'll find that a lot of times you are different because you are set apart, just like the people know that it's something different about you. Why? Because in your wilderness, the Lord has created, it's like creating a new you. So you get to a point where you don't feel excluded. You don't feel excluded for being different. It's consecration, right? Yeah, and that's what we're talking about in Leviticus 21. The priests are held to a different standard. And so because of that, you don't feel any type of way when you ain't included in the group chats. You don't, when you're not included in all the conversations. Why? Because you ain't trying to be gossiping anyway. We just got done talking about that. The Lord checked us about that. You don't need, man, guilty. Don't act like you ain't never did it. I'm guilty of it, honey. I had that talk with the Lord because I can remember, man, I was telling the Lord, I can remember last year when I got back to Alabama, got back to work, hadn't really been around people in years because I had been in the car. And I can remember the person that I was then. Man, right? I can remember the person that I was when the Lord sent me back into work last year. And again, y'all, I had been in the car for 2.5 years. And even before that, I had been in isolation. So we talking like 2020, right? Because that's when everybody went inside. We know why. And so I had been away from people for all that time. And even in California, y'all, I didn't have any friends. So I was really isolated for years, years. So now I go back into, man, it's crazy how the Lord will bring stuff to your recollection. And right, this is also speaking to what we said yesterday, how the Lord may be sending you back into Egypt, but you ain't going back the way you left. So last year, when the Lord sent me back to work, I can remember the person that I was. I was very, it was almost, I was a shadow of myself. Man, I hope this helps somebody. I was a shadow of myself. I kept myself very small. I didn't talk. I just was kind of, meek. Wasn't really just, I don't even know what word to use. I just felt like I had myself so small, right? And I laughed with the Lord in prayer because I say, "Oh, she gone. she 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 gone, huh? Because who this time I ain't going back the same way I left because even in that year." I remembered who I am. Can somebody remember who you are? It's not arrogance because I'm not an arrogant person, but I love me. Believe that. I love me. But I can remember coming into a new environment and it was just like I was just so small on purpose. Didn't want to make any noise and was just like, you know, mm, no. No, because in the mean and in between time, I remembered who I am. Some of y'all got to have, you're going to have a remember who you are moment. And you slowly but surely, the Lord going to keep rebuilding your confidence. Whereas one time you were walked in with your shoulders slumped and all, you walking in chin up, chest out. Like, no, I'm here. And it's because you know who you are. Man, I hope that helps somebody. I told the Lord that I say, man, I ain't going back the way the way I was the first time, entrance one. Actually, I would say exit one. Ashamed, coming back, ashamed. It ain't no shame this time. Man, I hope that makes sense to somebody. That's the kind of work the Lord will do in your wilderness season. He'll remind you of who you are. Okay. Message. Come on at 726. Birthday energy, right? Resolution is coming out. Positive outcome from challenging situation. Told y'all, breakthrough, freedom, restoration, and reconciliation. And so this is again, y'all, this is it because it's in the cards, is because this is always a part of God's plan for you, a part of your restoration. You do this work, you do this healing, and healing is a journey, it's a process we continue to move through. But you do this work, and then man, all of a sudden it's like a light bulb that just goes goes off and you just remember like, man, I was made for more than this. I'm meant to be more than this. I'm not playing small in this season because I have a lot of responsibility. And so I have to be who God has told me that I am in order to actually fulfill this, in order to walk the purpose and walk the destiny out that the Lord has decreed and declared for me, right? You have to get this, you have to continue to work on this. You're going to have your moments where it's almost like you may be shaking a little bit, even your faith being shaken a little bit. But it's also knowing that the Lord is still preparing you for this, even in those times of feeling shaken by something. Again, we talked about criticism, and the Lord is just like, but even that I prepared you for, right? Because what does it do? It makes us go back to the Lord so he can remind us who we are. I hope that makes sense to somebody, because it's like the world get out there and start trying to tell you who you are. All you have to do is get back with the Lord and be like, okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me remember who I am. Okay. So I hope that made sense to somebody. Whatever this was back here, and it doesn't even feel like anything bad. It's just the Lord confirming, like, yeah, this part of the work is done, and you're ready for the next part of the assignment. Okay. My heart. Come on, desiring, fire and desire. Yearning for, I just heard yearning for your love. Don't judge. Yearning for something or someone, fantasizing, wishful thinking, a want, a need, the desires of your heart. So for many of us, this is also the Lord given. Man, it ain't nothing like the Lord finally saying yes to something you've been waiting on. And I don't know if people, like, I don't know. So it's a talk that I have with the Lord all the time. Why people be afraid to say they want something? Like, maybe I don't know if that's because I don't. It's like, no, I want that. Am I gonna do, if I want something, then I want it. Doesn't necessarily mean the Lord's gonna give it to me, but it may be something he gives that's even better. But I think that part of the problem, man, do I say that like that? That sounds kind of bad. Um, it's why we stop dreaming and imagining, because people will make you think that if you want something, it's, oh, that's bad, you shouldn't be desiring something. Well, that's foolish. How businesses become successful if you don't desire for your business to be successful? How do you, I desire to be a homeowner, so why would that be bad? You know what I'm saying? And again, it's all about interpretation. The way that's why you got to go talk to the Lord yourself and be like, well, is it bad to want stuff? No. It's bad to do anything to get it. You don't want to compromise and get it any type of way. But is it wrong to want something? No. So for some of us, that's also something the Lord has to break off of us, because you be thinking like, well, no, I'll just be content with this. Then guess what? You always gonna have just what you're content with. I hope that makes sense. If that's all you want, then that's all the Lord will give you. If you good with with just that, then you good with just that. But as for me, no, it ain't no. Why? Because I know that the Lord wants me to have more. It's why so many people stay stuck. It's why so many people, it's why we have the 99% and the one. They have some understanding. What if and I can't say that everybody got it in a bad way. I don't know how they got it, but we have to know at some point. Thank y'all. We have to know at some point. It's like, what do they know? Even the word tells us that it's why it's how we be foolish, because you supposed to have worldly friends. And I'm paraphrasing now, I'm not no Bible scholar, but it's like, what they know that we don't know. Why we be telling us that why we be thinking abundance is bad, or having money is bad, or you got to have money to do the work. You got to have resources, because otherwise you go, what you doing? So I don't know if this is a mindset or what. uh you better start opening your mouth and tell the Lord what you want. Doesn't mean you gonna get it the exact way that you want it. You don't know when you're gonna get it or how he's going to take you to get it. But you can't do kingdom work without kingdom resources, hunty one. So if somebody, I don't know what this is about, like, because this desire, and I don't normally, the way the Lord showed me to read it, that's the way I'm gonna read it. It's almost like you putting your desires on the back burner, putting them down here, and it's just like, well, how you gonna accomplish some stuff, honey? No, be honest about what you want. God already know anyway. He put the desire in your heart. Huh? A mess, baby. You can't lie to the Lord. But acting like you don't want something when you do is like that ain't what we doing. If you want it, say that. Because then when you start admitting that that's what you want, the Lord can start telling your angels, activate your angels. If that's what you want, okay, because then the Lord say, I put it there for you to want it. So then he can start aligning things to come in to get you to that goal. Does that make sense? Okay. What else, Lord? Like you got to want it, and you got to come on, the good Samaritan. Then he can start sending the help as well. Third party. So some of y'all, this could be people. This is why sometimes the Lord will also tell you to go. I just heard this word. I just talked to the Lord about the good Samaritan the other day. Um, Sometimes as soon as you start, because it's like the Lord been waiting on you to be like, okay, yeah, that's what I really want. Like, yeah, I want, yeah. Then he can start aligning you with the right people. Some of y'all, this could be the people who are going to be resources for you. This is why you can't be afraid of what sometimes you just got to open your mouth. Sometimes you got to put yourself in environments that you wouldn't ordinarily put yourself in. Sometimes you just got to keep showing up. The Lord will put your name in rooms you ain't been in yet. And we hear that all the time. But and I read that, I saw this on, I think, Instagram yesterday. You never know who's watching you. I don't know if somebody is afraid of being seen. They're bringing this up. These two cards go together. Let me talk about this. I don't know if you, this is why maybe the Lord is talking about confidence. I don't know if you're afraid of being seen, or you have something about you that you feel like you're embarrassed about. I don't know, honey. You never know who's paying attention. And the example that they're using is like ASAP Rocky. Shout out ASAP Rocky reached out to somebody to get them to do some work. Now, apparently the fellow, whoever the person was, they ended up messing it up. Man, you realize, I don't know who, child, you realize celebrities are just people too. They just people. They just people. They just happen to have maybe more than what you have. They just people. I don't know. How do you look at yourself? Man, thank y'all. I heard something as well. Baby, don't let no thank y'all. I'm tracking. Don't let nobody tell you how to see yourself. Didn't we just get done talking about this? If you see yourself as a star, then baby, you a star. Drop it in the chat. I'm a star. And it doesn't mean that you up there trying to be in Hollywood, them, but you a star in the Lord's eyes. This is for some of y'all, this like the folks that the like the Lord removing you from around people. Like you got this little light of mine star, you got to shine. Don't let nobody else. If you see yourself, do you understand that that's part of manifestation? Maybe that's why. Be mindful. Because again, somebody could be saying something and they could be saying it with good intentions. Don't let nobody tell you how to see yourself. You're supposed to see the end from the beginning. So if you see yourself in Hollywood as the biggest actor, shout out Denzel, right? You may see yourself, I want to act like Denzel Washington. And baby, you better see yourself like a little mini Denzel. Don't let nobody try to tell you, because that's their opinion. Maybe they don't see themselves that way, but the way I see me and the way you see me, oh no, that ain't the same. Because that means you trying to project onto me what you think my level is. What? No. No. You know. I'm not gonna, don't let somebody project onto you how far you can go. I hope that makes sense to somebody. The Knight of Cups offers, and look, side note, the Knight of Cups offers invitations. This one's in the Bible Clarity deck, but I just looked over and the Knight of Cups was still there. A man is attacked. Of course, we know the story of the Good Samaritan. A man's attacked. A priest and a Levite passed by without helping him. Let me just say, man, I got to stop right there. Let me say this. It ain't always the people who you think gonna help. It's just not. Sometimes it's a random person who will give you more wisdom, more help, more assistance. The help don't always come from where you think it's going to come from. That might hurt somebody's feelings. It's almost like somebody knowing your story, but them not helping, and you would think that they would help. Like, man, I really thought that they would have helped me, but they kind of just stood there and watched you struggle. And then the Lord gonna send some help. When I say the Lord will send strangers, he gonna send strangers to help you. I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. The Lord gonna send some folks. He gonna make some folks not help you on purpose so that he can teach you the lesson of letting strangers help you. Ooh, that's the message for somebody. Sometimes the Lord won't let people. It's like Pharaoh. He gonna harden somebody's heart. They not supposed to help you. Why? So the Lord can teach you to receive from strangers. I hope that makes sense to somebody. Help comes from unexpected places, from unexpected people. It don't always come from where you expect to come from. Okay? It ain't always gonna come from your family. It's gonna come from places you're gonna be like, oh, I can't even believe it. Okay. You're gonna be sitting there looking crazy, like, wow. Yeah, because I'm telling you what I know. Okay. Service and compassion keep showing up. Short-lived, quick, and vanity. We have fleeting, and some people ain't meant to help you for every season. Sometimes it's a season. Sometimes people are sent into your life for help to help you for 1 minute. It's like the Good Samaritan, right? That's what we're ClariTEAing. It's like somebody come in, they give you the help that they're supposed to give, and then they gone. Everybody ain't meant to stay in your life forever. Okay. Some people are meant to come in, help you right then. This could be a lesson or a blessing. Some people are come in and the help, man, sometimes the help don't look the way it's supposed that you thought it was going to look. Sometimes the help is somebody teaching you something about yourself. And I hope this makes sense to somebody. It's like sometimes somebody got to come in and treat you real bad. And people don't want to hear that. Sometimes that is the help, because if that person don't treat you some type of way, then how you gonna put your boundaries up to keep somebody from doing that to you? Does that make sense? We be thinking that the help is always supposed to be good. No, sometimes the help that the Lord sends is somebody that's gonna hurt your feelings, because if you don't get your feelings hurt by this, then you gonna keep on letting people hurt your feelings that way. I hope, and that's even speaking to the help. Sometimes I hope that makes sense. But when you learn the lesson, when you learn it, because it hurts. So why you won't keep putting yourself through what hurts? I hope that makes sense. So everybody's not meant to come in and stay in your life forever. Sometimes their assignment is to come in and teach you. Ouch, that hurts. Okay. Because then you be like, man, I don't want to go through that again. I don't think that's no. So when someone come in, because they'll come back. Somebody's gonna come back, same spirit, different body. They're gonna come in and it's gonna be the same lesson, and you're gonna be like, mind you, oh, I know, because that was a year, that was some years I had to invest in them lessons until when you know better, you do better. Okay, what else? Divine masculine, and then we finna be out this thing. Here we go, Lord. 1233. I got that number the other day. Your determination is paying off. Stay focused on the goal and speak your life into existence. Which one? Is it in my journal? Hold on, y'all. Let me look, because I think I wrote this number down and I don't know what day. So let me just take a gander and see. Okay. Go back to your journal. This is so crazy. Go back to your journal on the 6th of August. There may be something in there for you. Crazy thing about it is, on the 6th of August, we had, what's today? The 12th. On the 6th of August, I pulled for us the Queen of Cups, and that's the day I pulled the star. Okay, another day I pulled the star. What else? So this may be important for somebody. Luke 10 and 9. I got the number 9111, for he will give his angels charge over you, man, to keep you in all your ways. Deuteronomy 10 and 12. The number 317, we was also talking about a granny on that day. And there may be a seed that was sown on that day that's in regards to a new beginning. Okay. Resources as well. Okay. Where did I put this at? Your determination is paying off, especially if the Lord is giving you something to build, something. It's him creating order as well, new opportunities. Stay focused on the goal, what it is that the Lord is having you to move forward with at this time. This is the Lord. This is also a blessing. What else, Lord? That's it. 999. I got that number not too long ago as well. The end of a cycle and help from the divine. There's something, there may be wisdom. This is like the Lord coming through with something that's going to let you know that something is finalized, like a cycle is over, that something has been completed. Okay. It's something that the Lord is going to say, hey, this season is over, the new season is starting. And it's like what has come out, thank y'all, what has come out through you in that season, it's like it's going to be visible to other people. It's one of those things, thank y'all, where people are going to be like, man, I don't know how you got through that season. Like, man, that it couldn't have been me. People going to be saying stuff like that, where this going to be like, man, that was something. I can't believe that you made it through that. I don't know how. I don't even know if I would have been able to do it. You're right. Why? But because the Lord, he strengthened you for it, because it was your assignment. So it's something like that, where people are going to start confirmationing for you in some way that you're completing a cycle. And and it's the way that they're going to confirm it is just like, man, I don't even know how you did that. Like, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. You right. But thank God it wasn't their assignment. It was yours. So the Lord was already strengthening you for that assignment. We have two cards down here. It's like, and I hope I can explain this. It's like we have a completion card right here, but this is coming up on the other side of this work. It's coming up on the other side of the resolution. It's like we have a completion card to finish this out, but then we also have a completion card to finish this part out as well. So there may be two endings, two things that the Lord is going to confirm. Like, okay, yeah, that definitely is over with. That's over with as well. Boom. It's like two things closing, two things opening, something like that. I don't know how else to explain that. It's just like the Lord saying, like, yes, this is in order. You done got your house in order, your foundation together. You did what you needed to do in order to close out this cycle. You learned what you needed to learn. Let's move forward. Okay. And you're going to have some additional help to come in with this. This is new people coming in. This ain't folks that's trying to be smiling in your face and sneak dissing for real. Like, the Lord getting ready to send in some new people as well. Why? Because he's getting ready to align you with people who understand your assignment. Now, let me also say this. Don't let somebody come in trying to tell you how you should operate in your assignment. This is the importance of identity. You got to know who you are, because there are going to be some people, for some of you, that are going to want to tell you, well, you should, if you do this way, oh man, the temptation. Thank y'all. If you do this way, then you would, let's just use money as an example. Well, if you do this way, and I don't mean wisdom, I mean someone who wants to come in and try to change your identity. Man, I just put the cards up. Who wants to come in and try to change your identity to be more like what they think it should be. This is why the Lord is saying, know who you are before you go into the place where I'm sending you. Remember, we just talked about, like, you're not imitating Egypt, you're not imitating Canaan when he sends you in there. People will come in and try to change you into what they think would be more beneficial for you. No, you got to be who you are going in. And that's why it's like standing on your boundaries, it's like, no, that ain't what the Lord told me. That's the other thing. Be able to stand on. I read that in Bible study this morning. It's like, what is your foundation? The way Jesus fought back it's the wilderness, right? Coming out of the wilderness, the enemy knows you're vulnerable. And so it'll be easy to be influenced, because again, we're going into new cultures, new environments. We're going to be dealing with new people. You're going to be dealing with people who know how to manipulate. That's one of their greatest tactics, right? So it's like, you got to be solid. Like, no, That ain't what God said. And that's where I get my instructions from. And so since God didn't tell me, no, I mean, I hear what you're saying. You ain't got to be rude about it. You be like, oh, okay, I take it under consideration, and okay, thank you for, sharing that. But that don't mean you got to, because I used to be that person, baby, easily influenced. My God. Be like, oh, you think I should do that? Okay, well, let me do it. The who? No. That season, we ain't in that season no more. I don't no. For some of you, this is like relationships. This is why the Lord will teach you about yourself, to love yourself before somebody gets introduced. Why? Because first thing you want to do is start changing who you are, who the Lord has created you to be, in order to accommodate what somebody else wants you to be. That's what, thank y'all. That's what that cutting card was about. I didn't put them up. This is like, you start changing yourself to appear a certain way because somebody wants you to look like that. The hell? No, we're not doing that. This is why you got to love you. And if they don't, man, listen, if they don't love you the way that they meet you, don't go to changing yourself because they want you to conform to their looks and their standards. Baby, if that's what you like, go find that. If you want somebody skinny, go find her. Because I'm thick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have that kind of confidence. Like, be mindful of changing yourself up because somebody wants you to look a certain type of way. Because for who? For what? No. Again, be mindful of that. And also, not everybody, you might be going into cultures where, let's say, for example, this kind of energy, and I'm just going to say with what's on the card, it's just like, if you don't want to do that, then don't feel pressure to do that. Oh, if you change yourself to look this way, what? No, I love me. Love you. Okay, love you. I hope that makes sense for somebody. It's influence. The enemy can't create. He can influence. That's one of his tactics. So this is why the Lord is teaching us a lot about compromise before we even get to Canaan. Before we get to Canaan, we got the kingdom. Man, when the Lord told me that, man, I thank you, Lord, that you gave me the kingdom before you gave me Canaan. You gave me the kingdom before you gave me the promise. Because it makes message. It makes you operate differently. Okay. Get the kingdom first. Get the kingdom before the promise. Okay. That's it. That's all. That's the message. Lord, I hope this helps somebody. That's all, y'all. It's time to be great and amazing, do great and amazing things. Child, I got post-production, and then I got, man, I know school. I don't know what to do with myself. That's it. That's all. Y'all go get to the work. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord bless the work of your hands. May you prosper in everything that you do on this day. Y'all go hydrate your soul. Drink your water. Say your gratitude. Have a fantastic and an amazing Wednesday. It's still Wednesday. In purpose, on purpose. I will see y'all in the morning. 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank y'all so much for the likes, the shares, the comments. Child, you get up here, I be feeling like I'm sweating, and I am. Baby, the lights is hot, the message is hot, the tea is hot. OM Jesus. Anyway. Thank y'all so much for the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscribes, the love, the energy. I'm so truly, truly grateful. That's it. I love y'all in real life. I will see y'all on tomorrow. Y'all make sure. Oh, I can't say it. Child, look, I'm gonna have to because I don't want to mess that up just yet. I love y'all in real life. I will see y'all on tomorrow. Child, I'll be forgetting. Because I be getting banned. I do. I be getting banned. I be getting messed up. Because sometimes I just be wanting to say what I'm going to say. Oh, I got to take that off. That's why they had said something to me. I got to take that off because I think I got something. Or maybe they did it. Child, I don't know. It don't look like it's still on there. Anyway, I don't know. Child, I had got another band. I done got about 17 violations, Lord. I'm sorry. I ain't do it on purpose. I will see y'all on tomorrow. Y'all go be great and amazing, do great and amazing things. Babe, I be messing up. I don't be knowing because I don't be studying that. And then they talking about you can't say your name and stuff. You can't tell people to go nowhere. If y'all ain't subscribed to the Kingdom ClariTEA newsletter, make sure that y'all subscribe to the Kingdom. I can say it now because I'm on this side of the street. Y'all, I got to go get my glasses adjusted. But then it's kind of because right now I can't even hardly wear them because all my braids and it's just so much. And then they be crooked. Anyway, I love y'all. I'll see y'all on tomorrow. Y'all go have a fantastic day. Bye, y'all.